Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the 2016-2017 FCSAA Region 8 State Baseball Tournament. We got started a little late today because of the rain that came through overnight, so we are running a little bit behind. This game, which was scheduled for 4 p.m., will start at approximately 6:05. So for all the online watchers, please bear with us as the ground crew turns over the field. We'll have Marshall Waltress, Corey McDonald, and Chris Valentine back on the air soon, and the game will get started. Again, that's a 6:05 start time, so bear with us. Thank you.
We apologize for the audio malfunction. We've got it all hooked up and ready to go now. 2 outs to start the ball game. Pitching for Northwestern Florida State College, number 9, Jarrett Montgomery. Norberto Navarro flew out to center, and Sammy Duran, the right fielder, struck out swinging. Now batting is Jacob McFadden, the left fielder for Eastern Florida. He's up in the count, 2-0. And another fly ball to center field. And it is caught by Juji. That'll be the end of the top of the first. No hits, no errors, no runs. We'll be right back at the bottom half of the first. A quick look at the lineups for Northwestern Florida State College. Batting first, number 6, the second baseman, Dano Diaz. Batting second, number 13, the third baseman, Landon Crowder. Batting third, number 24, the DH, Ross Goforth. Batting fourth, number 37, the first baseman, Jake Corso. Batting fifth, number 4, the shortstop, Mike Salvatore. Batting sixth, number 14, the right fielder, Bryant Harris Jr. Batting seventh, number 15, the left fielder, Devin Brown. Batting eighth, number 26, the catcher, Cole Halfaker. And batting ninth, number 10, in center field, Joe Guidry. Quick look at the lineup for Eastern Florida State College. Batting first, wearing number 16 and playing short, Norberto Navarro. Batting second, number 11, right fielder, Sammy Duran. Batting third, number 10, Jacob McFadden, the left fielder. Batting fourth, the catcher, number 15, Jeff Corte. Batting fifth, number 18, the DH, Elian Morejo. Batting sixth, number 17, first baseman, Dylan Owens. As a line-out, fly-out to left field for Dano Diaz. Batting seventh, number 19, Paul Castillo, the second baseman. Batting eighth, the third baseman, number 2, Jason Corneal. And batting ninth, number 24, the center fielder, Sebastian Rivera. Pitching for Eastern Florida State College is Tommy Romero. And pitching for Northwestern Florida State College is Jarrett Montgomery. Now batting is number 13, the third baseman, Landon Crowder. Want to know the count? That ball taken down for a ball. 2-0 here. Eastern Florida made it here as a wild card, and Northwest Florida made it here as the Panhandle Conference runners-up. 2-1 the count now to Crowder. And that ball is called a strike. 2-2 the count. And that ball is taken outside. Full count here, 3-2.
Now, Chris, you mentioned Panhandle Conference runners-up. They're runners-up to Chipola College. That was the first game of today. Tell me a little bit about that game today.
That game started off as a pitcher's duel. Finished off mainly as a pitcher's duel. Very good game. St. John's River led Chipola most of the way. And Chipola came back in the 7th and 8th innings and took a 3-2 lead, and then a 4-1 lead, or 4-2 lead, I believe it was, and ended up finishing actually 5-2. They ended up winning 5-2. Very good game.
You know, it was a great game, and it was led by number 15 Pearson McMahon, their pitcher. Tell me a little about his performance, Chris.
He pitched 6 1/3. He had 10 strikeouts in just over 6 innings pitched, and that's outstanding if you can do that. He had great command of his two-seam. He played very well. As a foul ball down the right field line. This is Ross Goforth, the DH for Northwestern. Batting third, down 0-2.
These two teams both very evenly matched. Eastern Florida State College finished the regular season 31-17. Northwest Florida State College finished 32-15. In the conference, Northwest Florida State College went 14-10, and in the conference, Eastern Florida went 15-13. So both very similar seasons.
That ball is taken in the dirt, gets away from Corte. It will be 1-2. That ball is taken high. Marshall, why don't we take a quick look at the defense for Eastern Florida?
So starting from the outside, left outside field coming into the right, McFadden, Rivera, Duran. Coming in from third base over to first, Comiel, Navarro, Castille, Owens, and then Corte behind the plate.
And swing and a miss. That is strike 3. That'll end the inning. 2 strikeouts here for Romero to start off the first inning. 0-0, no runs, no hits through 1. We'll be right back at the top half of the second inning. We're back here to lead off the top half of the second. Number 15, the catcher, Jeff Court, will lead it off for us. And he pops that ball up in foul territory. It'll go out of play. 0-1 the count. Getting some encouragement from the fans to hit the ball. And he takes that ball low. 1-1, evens the count. And he fouls that one back into the netting. Down on the count 1-2 is Court. On deck, number 18, the DH, Elian Morejo. And he grounds that just foul on the first base line. That'll keep the count at 1-2. Joining me today is Corey Mack and Marshall Watchers. And that ball is driven to deep right center. That's got some carry and hits the bottom of the wall. That'll be extra bases. And Court will go into second standing up. Leadoff double for Eastern Florida State College to start the second inning.
And how about Court, the 5'8", 190 catcher? Getting it done. He was drawing some great contact on the ball, just not getting it lined up straight, and then he busts one out to right center field and gets a double out of it.
Yeah, you talk about him fouling off those two previous pitches. He was just timing the pitcher up. He got a pitch he liked, and he drove it.
Great job by Court. And Court, as a catcher, he averages .313 batting average, so
that's great for a catcher. Morejo up to bat. He has a man on second, no outs. And he drives that ball into deep left field. And that will fall. That should bring in a run. That'll be another extra base hit. And Court will go to home. Play at the plate. And he is out at the plate. And Court, he slammed his helmet in frustration and then quickly apologized to the umpire. The umpire gave him a pass on that because of Court's quick regret. Third base coach is arguing the call made at the plate. To me, he looked like he was safe. Let's take a look at the replay real quick, if we can. Yeah. No, it looks like it was the wrong replay. That's okay. Technical issue there. That's okay. We'll take a look at it in a moment. First pitch taken outside, ball one, in the dirt.
Well, if you look at the positive for Eastern Florida State College, they got a man on second base. Although Court got tagged at home, still two great hits in a row, both doubles. So now we got Dylan Owens up at the plate. Counts 1-1.
Dylan Owens, the first baseman. That ball's in the dirt as well. Two pitches in the dirt to start off. Two and one. The count to Owens. And swing and miss, 2-2. Good off-speed pitch by Montgomery. And that ball's in the dirt. Full count, 3-2.
Man still on at second with 1 out. Score still 0-0.
And he takes that pitch inside corner. Strike 3 called. It's the second out of the inning. Second strikeout for Montgomery.
Next batter for the Titans is the second baseman, number 19, Paul Castillo.
Second baseman Paul Castillo on the bat.
Castillo's got 3 homers on the year.
I'm sure Eastern Florida would like to get a taste of his power. How about taking low? 1-0.
For those of you just now joining us, that's Eastern Florida State College in the black and Northwest Florida State in the red and gray.
And that ball swung on and miss. Evens up the count at 1-1. Cut out and miss. 2 strikes to Castillo. 1-2. Montgomery looking to get out of this jam real quick. And barely able to get a piece of that was Castillo. Keeps himself alive here. And able to keep himself alive again. Still 1-2. 2 outs. Man on second.
Castillo's got 18 RBIs on the year. Looking to get home his teammate. Going to get his teammate home, who's at second.
And there's a grounder, foul ball. Still 1-2. Marshall, let's take a look at that defense for Northwestern Florida State College.
And the outfield starting on the left side, we got Brown, Guidry, Harris Jr. coming in from third to first. We got Crowder, Salvatore Diaz, and Corso. Behind the plate at home, we've got Halfaker, and on the mound in the middle, we got Montgomery.
And swung on and missed. 2 punch-outs to end the inning for Montgomery. That's no runs on 2 hits and no errors with 1 man left on base. Thanks to that wonderful throw, wonderful outfield assist to keep this game scoreless.
And great job by number 9, Jared Montgomery.
We'll be right back at the bottom half of the second inning. You're watching FCSAA Sports on YouTube. I'm Chris Fontaine alongside Marshall Watchers and Corey Mack. We'll see you in a couple seconds. We're back here in the bottom half of the second inning. Leading off for Northwestern is Jake Corso, and he lines a shot to short, grounder, and good play made there to get him out. That was Norberto Navarro on the throw. And that's quickly one out here in this second inning.
Man, a good job by Tommy Romero getting out of the way of that shot. That came straight for his head, and, killer instincts for the pitcher just hopping out of the way on that one.
Shortstop Mike Salvatore on to bat for Northwestern. Strike one called as the first pitch of this at-bat. And that ball in the dirt off the pitcher almost goes over the back netting. 1-1 the count. And he swings, almost takes the pitcher's head off again. That's 2 in a row to Romero that have come awfully close to him. That one's in there for a hit. Northwestern has a man on.
Man, these Northwest Florida State College guys must have something against Romero out there on the mound. Keep aiming that ball straight for him.
Yeah, they're showing him no mercy. I think they're still pumped up from that outfield assist. I know I am. Bryant Harris Jr., the right fielder, comes on to bat. He's got a man on first, one out. That ball's in the dirt. 1-0. On deck, if we get to him, Devin Brown, the left fielder. Pickoff move, no good. And safely is Salvatore. That ball is fouled back into the right, first base side. Out of play in the stands. 1-2 the count now. I apologize, 1-1. 1-1 the count. Another pickoff attempt. Nothing doing.
Tommy Romero really keeping an eye on that first base.
And swung on and missed. 1-2. As a pitcher, you always got to keep in mind the runner on first. You don't want to get them. You don't want them to stay in your head through your delivery, but you do want to keep them in mind. That last pitch clocked in at 90 miles an hour. Good speed by Romero. And swung on a miss in the dirt. Runner occupying first, so he'll be out either way. That'll be the second out of the inning. Coming up to bat, the left fielder, Devin Brown.
Brown, a freshman out of Smith Station, Alabama.
On first still is Salvatore. Gets a big lead and a big jump. Good secondary lead. Ball one. Just something to keep an eye on. Another pickoff attempt by Romero. No good. That ball taken outside, 2-0. And that ball taken outside as well, 3-0 now. We'll see if Brown has the green light on this next pitch.
That's definitely a pitch count you want. It's 3-0.
Anytime you have the opportunity for a free base or a meatball, you'll take it. And it was a meatball, but he didn't swing. He didn't have the green light. 3-1. The last pitch was a 90-mile-an-hour fastball right down the middle. And the runner steals Salvatore. And he is out at second. Good throw made by Court. That'll end the inning. 3 outs there. 1 hit, no runs, no men left on base. We'll be right back in the top half of the 3rd inning. Score still 0-0. We're back here in the top half of the 3rd inning. Leading off for Eastern Florida, the 3rd baseman, Jason Corneal, takes that first pitch for a ball. Eastern Florida had a great opportunity to score, but a wonderful throw made by the left fielder, Devin Brown, was able to get the ball inside to the plate in time to get the out. And he's there to make the catch as well. That'll be the first out of the inning. Marshall, tell us a little bit about that throw.
It was a heck of a throw for sure, Chris.
Thank you, Marshall. The only reason that out was possible was because there's only 1 out in the inning. Sorry, there are no outs in the inning. And Jeff Court, the catcher, held up at second for a little bit because he wasn't sure if that ball was going to be caught. And it wasn't. So we got a late start going home. If he would have ran right when that ball was hit or right when he knew, well, a little bit before he would have went, he would have been safe. That ball tipped, hits the catcher's mask. Sebastian Rivera, the center fielder, in to hit. 1-1 in the count. And that ball is in the dirt, 2-1.
Sebastian Rivera ended the regular season with a .294 batting average.
Swung on a miss. 2-2 evens up the count. And he pops that ball straight up. Let's see if there's a play to be made. And there is, but he doesn't make it. That was Hellfaker, unable to make the grab. He took his eye off the ball. That could turn out to be a costly error. Doesn't count as an error, but we all know that it truly is. And that ball high and out. That'll bring the count full. Three and two pitch. Swung on, and there's a hit. When you make errors, they come back to haunt you. Sebastian Rivera could be in the dugout right now, but now he's on first. Now the leadoff hitter, the number one slot hitter, Norberto Navarro, the shortstop, now up to bat with a man on.
Navarro, a 5'9" sophomore from Puerto Rico, up to bat.
That ball, pass ball on Hellfaker. That'll bring Rivera over to second. Now there's a runner in scoring position with one out for Navarro. That ball outside, 2-0. And there's a hard hit ground ball in the hole between third and short. Stopping at third is Rivera. And now there will be runners on first and third with one out for the right fielder, Sammy Duran.
A nice hit by Navarro to get on first and get a man over to third from second.
And we go back to that missed opportunity by the catcher, Hellfaker. Rivera could be in the dugout right now with two outs. But now he's on third base in scoring position, one out. And you got your number two hitter, Sammy Duran, up at the plate to hit.
And Duran is second on the team in RBIs with 35, so it's looking good right now for Eastern Florida State College.
Yeah, he's looking to get his 36th.
That's right.
Takes that pitch inside corner for a strike. And he swings and misses that one, 0-2. That was a good pitch. Good off-speed pitch by Montgomery.
And Duran is one of the many players from Melbourne, Florida, on this Eastern Florida State College team. He is a sophomore, listed at 5'11", 210.
They do have a lot of local guys on their team. And swung on a miss. Strike 3. That will be the second out of the inning. And off the bat, the number 3 hitter, left fielder, Jacob McFadden. That was the 4th strikeout of the game for Jarrett Montgomery. 4 strikeouts so far in 2 2/3 innings. Pickoff attempt over to first, nothing doing. Navarro didn't have that big of a lead. He looks to take a little bit of a bigger one this time. Takes a big jump. That ball is low in the dirt, 1-0. That ball in the dirt as well, 2-0.
Good eye by McFadden. The past two pitches.
He knows he has a good opportunity here, and he doesn't want to mess it up by swinging the pitches in the dirt. Now, good curveball. Breaking over to the outside corner. 2-1. And he drives that ball down the middle. That's going to be a hit. 1 run will score. To third goes Navarro. First and third again. Jacob McFadden gets an RBI. And that error does come back to haunt Northwestern.
You mentioned RBI. McFadden actually leads the team with 38 this year.
Well, he just got his 39.
It sure helps when the last 3 guys you have hitting all average over 300 on their batting average. So you had a guy on first, guy on third, and then you get a guy home.
Now batting is the catcher, Jeff Court. He'll look to extend this 2-out rally for Eastern Florida. Takes that pitch low and outside, ball 1.
This is Jeff Court up to bat, the catcher with the questionable slide into home plate, whether he was safe or not on those previous at-bat.
Halfaker goes out to talk to Montgomery. Maybe an issue with the signs. Maybe he notices something in Montgomery's delivery that we can't see from here. And it looks like Doug Martin going out to speak to his pitcher. No activity in the bullpen yet, but 5 hits in less than 3 innings. We might see it pretty soon. Not much damage on the scoreboard, but these hitters are figuring out Montgomery pretty well. 2-0 the count to Court. That ball outside corner of the plate, taken for a strike. 2-1. That ball fouled back into the right. 2-2 evens up the count. Montgomery looks at the sign. Grabs his pitch. Fires. 3-2. That ball in the dirt. Looking to get out of this situation that he's put himself into. Trying to get out of this, only allowing 1 run. Full count pitch. And there's a grounder over to first. In to make the play is Corso. That will retire the side. 1 run on 2 hits, 2 men left on base. Eastern Florida jumps out to a 1-0 lead, and we will go to the bottom half of the 3rd inning. You're watching the FCSAA Sports YouTube channel. I'm Chris Valentine alongside Corey Mack and Marshall Watchers. We'll be right back in the bottom half of the 3rd. Leading off the bottom half of the 3rd, the batter who was out, or who was on at bat when the caught stealing occurred, Devin Brown. He'll get another try at it. Takes that first pitch inside for a ball. Second pitch hits the inside corner, evens it up 1-1. And there's a drive over the head of the second baseman in the right center gap. That'll be extra bases. Good slide. And able to get in the throw is Harris Jr. I apologize, it's not Harris Jr., that's Duran. And in for a double is Devin Brown. So his second opportunity at the plate pays off. And he's in with a double.
A great job by Devin Brown to get a double out of that play.
It wasn't the hardest hit ball, but he's on second base, so I don't think he cares. Batting is the catcher, Cole Halfacre. He lays down a bunt. Not every day you see a catcher bunting. That ball goes foul. 0-1 the count. Looking to get the tying run over to third base. Corners playing in. Middle infielders in double play formation. That ball is taken outside. Ball 1. 1-1 the count. You could argue that Halfaker is the reason that Northwestern finds themselves down 1-0, 1-0. After that missed opportunity in the top half of this inning. Takes that pitch on the outside corner, 1-2. Beautiful day here as the sun is starting to set behind the stadium, causing a shadow. And that ball is hit to right field, on for a base hit. First and third will be the result with no outs. Up next to bat, Joe Guidry, the center fielder. He'll have first and third, no outs.
And a great job by Cole Hafker, the catcher. Not hitting it as hard as he could, just finding open space in the outfield and making it work, getting one of his teammates over to third base and him to first. So that's all that matters, is getting on base.
Joe Guidry comes up with a prime opportunity to tie this ball game up, maybe even take a lead. And he lays down a bunt. Safety squeeze. And no throw to be made. Guidry has a bunt single and ties this ball game up. Puts runners on first and second for the leadoff man, Dano Diaz.
And there's a little hesitation there by Tommy Romero as he got that ball, not knowing quite what to do with it as soon as he picked it up. And that's the one thing you can't do. You gotta react one way or the other. You can't just stop to think about it. And it resulted in a run for Northwest Florida State College. So good for them, man. They got a man on first.
Corners are back in. Diaz has speed. Don't be surprised if he tries to lay down a bunt as well. And there he goes. And he pops that one up. And it falls. And he'll put runners on second and third as he's out at first.
That's all right, though. That's the first out for the inning for this Raiders team, and they're more in scoring position now. They got one on second, one on third.
And that's exactly what he was trying to do. He was just trying to move the runners, and if he got on base, so be it. But that wasn't his mission.
And great job by Diaz. Executing on what he's supposed to be doing.
That's the first out of the inning. Runners on second and third now. Infield in. Landon Crowder, the third baseman, will come off to bat. He struck out his first at bat. Takes that first pitch inside for a strike. 0-1 the count. On deck is Ross Goforth, the DH. That ball blocked by Court. Able to get that ball in front of him. 1-1. That ball lined over the shortstop's head. Looks like there's going to be a play at the plate. Nope, he's held up. And there's a play at second, and bad throw. Runners on second and third again as a run scores. That was Halfaker able to make it all the way in. And that will go down as a single for Landon Crowder.
Chris, you want to talk a little bit about why it was a single, not called a double?
In a normal play, it would have been a single because the throw would have gone straight to second. But because there were base runners, the priority went to them instead of paying attention to the batter. So when you look at it as a normal play, it would still be a single. So Northwestern jumps out to a lead. They answer the one run that Eastern scored in the top half of this inning with two of their own with an opportunity to make it more. 1 out, runners on second and third, infield still in. Ross Goforth up. That ball in the dirt, blocked by Court. Want to know the count?
Ross Goforth is the big slugger for this team. He's listed at 6'1", 250, and he leads the team with 9 home runs this year, as well as 31 RBI. Goforth, a sophomore out of Norman Park, Georgia, which is in Colquitt County.
Strike one called, 2-1. That ball is taken inside, 3-1, close pitch. But it's called a ball. And swung on and missed. Full count, 3-2.
Goforth swinging at the ball like he's angry.
Yeah, that was a hard cut. First baseman Jake Corso on deck. That ball taken for a strike. Strike 3 called. That'll make it 2 outs. Goforth is retired. 4th strikeout of the game for Romero. Corso up to bat, a lefty with power. That ball is lined into the first base netting. That'll be 0-1. That pitch swung on and missed, high and tight. 0-2 now to Corso. And Romero just 1 pitch away from getting out of here, allowing only 2 runs. And he got him. Swung on and missed. Strike 3. 5th strikeout for Romero as he ends this inning. Northwestern scored 2 runs on 4 hits, 2 men left on base. They take a 2-1 lead as we head to the top of the 4th. You're watching FCSAA Sports on YouTube. We'll be right back in the top half of the 4th. We are back here at the top half of the 4th at Publix Field at Joker Marchant Stadium in Lakeland, Florida. You're watching the FCSAA JUCO Baseball State Tournament. This is Game 3 of the day between Eastern Florida and Northwestern Florida State College. That ball is flied out to right. On the catch was Harris Jr. That was Elian Morejo leading off with an out.
For those of you just now joining us, the score is 2-1. Northwest Florida State College leads over Eastern Florida State. Northwest Florida an 8 seed, Eastern Florida a 9. However, our 4th game of the day was supposed to be started at 7, but we had a rain delay from the first game and then a couple long games today. So Game 4 tonight, my best guess would be starting at 9 o'clock tonight as we just started at the top of the 4th. Game 4 is going to be against the number 2 seed Polk State versus the number 4 seed Palm Beach State. So be sure to stick around until about 9 o'clock is my best guess. Tomorrow we've got a full list of games. We've got the first game, which we will have the State College of Florida be playing against Miami-Dade. Game 3, we will have the winner of Game 3 right here going on right now. We'll be playing the winner of we'll be playing Santa Fe. And then we've got 2 more games that afternoon, depending on how these games pan out. So be sure to stick around.
Thank you, Marshall. Make sure to tune in tomorrow for that full slate of games. That ball lined in the hole between first and second. That was Dylan Owens on base. Able to get on base. Now batting will be Paul Castillo, the second baseman.
Next batter for Eastern Florida is number 19, second baseman Paul Castillo.
Good example of hitting them where they ain't by Elian Morejo. Able to just get that ball in between the gap of first and second. Paul Castillo struck out in his last at-bat. Won another count after that first pitch taken. That pitch taken as well. That one for a strike. And that pitch popped up to third, in between third and short, and on making catch is Mike Salvatore, the shortstop. That'll be the second out of the inning.
Brings up number 2, third baseman
Jason Corneal will come up to bat. He has a runner on first, 2 outs. That pitch high and tight, taken for a ball. The wind's starting to die down. It was really picking up earlier. That ball driven down the line, just past the diving third baseman, Crowder. That'll be an extra base hit. Second and third as the runners will stop. And that will be a 2-out double for Jason Corneal. Stopping at third was Dylan Owens. And Sebastian Rivera will come on to try to bring these runners home. Maybe tie the game up or even take a lead. First pitch to Rivera. Taken outside for a ball. That was a good piece of hitting by Jason Corneal, sneaking it past the diving Crowder on the third base line, just inside the foul line. That ball is flown to left field. Able to make the catch is Brown. That will end the inning. No harm, no foul for Northwestern as they end this top half of the fourth, allowing no runs on 2 hits. 2 men left on base. And we'll be right back in the bottom half of the fourth. We're back here in the bottom half of the fourth, due up for Northwestern Florida State College. Mike Salvatore, the shortstop, Bryant Harris Jr., the right fielder, and Devin Brown, the left fielder. Northwestern leads 2-1. Back in pitching for Eastern Florida, Tommy Romero. First pitch taken inside for a ball. Good eye by Salvatore. That pitch fouled back. That'll even the count at 1-1. That pitch fouled back into the netting, 1-2. Clocked at 91 miles an hour. Good hard fastball by Tommy Romero. That pitch fouled back as well. Salvatore keeps himself alive, still 1-2.
Salvatore, a sophomore from Ewing, New Jersey, making some great contact here.
You know who else is from New Jersey? Mike Trout. No relation, no significant factor between the two. I just thought I'd spit out some information.
Hey, Mike Trout's a good baseball player.
Hey, that he is. That pitch fouled to the right. That'll be out of play as well. 2-2 the count. That pitch inside, full count. 3-2 here for Salvatore. And that pitch inside, ball 4. Salvatore draws the walk. Leadoff runner is on for Northwestern. That'll bring Bryant Harris Jr. to the plate with a man on. Harris Jr. singled in his first at-bat. I apologize. Harris Jr. struck out in his first at-bat. Salvatore was the one who got the single. That pitch taken right down the heart of the plate for a strike.
Harris just under 300 with a 299 batting average for the year.
That pitch blocked by Court. One and one the count to Northwest right fielder Bryant Harris Jr. And he takes that pitch 1-2 inside part of the plate. That pitch outside, 2-2, evens up the count.
Brian Harris, a sophomore for Northwest Florida State College. He's out of Hampton, Georgia.
Takes that pitch down and out in the dirt. Brings this to a full count. Second straight full count to start off this inning. And Salvatore stealing. And a good diving play made. And able to get the out. Was Castillo. Good diving play. He had to quickly turn around and dive in the opposite direction in which he was headed. And he was able to make the throw to Owens to get the runner at first.
Man, great defensive play, but how about Harris Jr. almost taking his own teammate out? Salvatore, when he was going to second base, just barely missed him.
Devin Brown, the left fielder, into bat. He's got a man on second with one out. He doubled the last inning. Scored the tying run. And he singles up the middle. And he looks to drive in another run. And he will. No play at the plate. Devin Brown makes this a 3-1 game. Cole Halfaker on to bat for Northwest. Comes on with a man on first and one out. Runner stealing, and that ball is fouled. 0-1 the count. Halfaker singled and scored in his last at bat, the last inning. 0-1 the count to him right now. That pitch taken for a strike, 0-2. That pitch down and out. 1-2.
That's number 10, Joe Guidry on deck. Runner on first. One out here. 1-2 count.
Guidry had a bunt hit in his last at bat. And that pitch blocked, but the runner will advance to second. That'll go down as a wild pitch. 2-2 the count. That pitch outside, full count.
That last pitch clocked in at 91 miles an hour. This Halfaker's still at bat.
And that pitch low and inside, taken for a ball. Halfaker draws the walk. That'll be two men on, one on first, one on second. And Joe Guidry comes up with a chance to extend the lead. And a fake pickoff move by Romero towards second. Keeping the runner honest there. That's Devin Brown out there at second. First pitch taken on the inside corner for a strike.
This game just now approaching an hour and a half as we are still in the bottom of the fourth. We've got a game to come on after this. It's most likely to be started at 9 or 9:30. That'll be against Polk State and Palm Beach State.
That foul ball landed on the roof Quite a few of those have happened today. Guidry in a hole, 0-2. 1 out, runners on first and second. That pitch high, 1-2. And swung on and missed. Foul tip, caught. That'll go down as a strikeout for Guidry. That's number 6 of the day for Romero. Now there are 2 outs with runners on first and second. Dano Diaz coming up the bat. Runners on first and second. 2 outs. First pitch taken low for a ball. That pitch taken for a ball. 2-0. That pitch taken for a strike. 2-1 the count to Diaz. Diaz flew out in the first inning and sack bunted in the third. Takes that pitch outside. 3-1. Romero looking to get out of this inning with minimal damage. Wants to keep his team in position to get a W here. And there's a hit in the gap between right and center. That'll score 2, possibly 3 base hit for Diaz, and he's in at third standing up. Brings in 2 runs. That's a 5-1 ball game.
And a beautiful hit by Diaz. He had a 3-1 count. Just had the green light and let her go. Great job by Diaz hitting that middle right of the outfield and get to third base and send 2 home. Tommy Romero and Jeff Court talking it over at the mound. That's number 13. Landon Crowder comes to at bat.
Crowder struck out and got a hit in his last 2 at-bats. Single to the left. Comes on with a runner on third. 2 outs. That pitch high and tight. Near miss. 1-0 the count. That pitch low. 2-0. And Court goes back out to the mound to talk to Romero. 2-0 the count. 2 outs, man on third for Crowder. Looking to extend this lead for Northwest Florida. That pitch taken for a ball, 3-0. Looked like they were trying to employ the safety squeeze. Crowder's got speed, so don't expect him. So expect him to possibly bump, but he takes that pitch high. Ball 4. Now there will be runners on first and third with 2 outs. And Ross Goforth, the designated hitter, will come up to bat.
Goforth with 31 RBIs on the season. He's got a man on first and third.
There's action in the bullpen right now for Eastern Florida. That first pitch taken outside for a ball. Swung on a miss, 1-1. Yep, there's the pitcher warming up for Eastern Florida. That pitch taken inside for a ball. 2-1, hitters count. And that pitch inside, 3-1. 3-1, you don't want to load up the bases with 2 outs with the cleanup hitter on deck. Look for a high-velocity pitch near the middle of the zone. Trying to stay alive in this count. And he fakes the pickoff to third and then first. Romero just trying to get out of this inning. And the runner goes, and ball 4, Romero walked Goforth. And now the cleanup hitter, Jake Corso, will come up to bat.
Next batter for the Raiders is the first baseman, number 37, Jake Corso.
Romero's command is starting to lack. And it looks like they might make a pitching change here, and they will. Romero will come out of this game with 3 2/3 innings, giving up 5 runs on 7 hits, all earned. And we'd like to give a few thanks to the people who have made this possible. Go ahead, Marshall.
Well, we'd most likely to extend a big thank you to the following: Mrs. Kelly Warren, the Executive Director of the FCSAA, Mike Matulia, the FCSAA Men's Commissioner, Mr. Bill Hamilton, the Chair of the FCSAA Council of Athletic Affairs, Mr. Rick Hitt, the State Chair for Men's Baseball, and Mr. Bing Tyus, the Baseball Tournament Director. Also, a special thank you to Mr. Bing Tyus and Wally Minto at Polk State College for hosting us for the FCSAA NJCAA Region 8 Baseball Tournament.
Thank you, Marshall. All those people you just listed off have played key roles into what you guys are watching right now and what these players are playing for in this tournament. Thank you for everything that you guys have done. Romero is responsible for all 3 runners on base right now. So he's given up 5 runs with the possibility of 8. And they've kept him in the ballgame. They've kept him in. It looked like they were bringing in a relief pitcher.
Regardless, Jake Corso is up to hit, and that's who you want to be hitting for your team. I mean, with 29 RBIs in the regular season and 4 home runs, while the bases are loaded, I would definitely be wanting to have him hit the ball for you.
Yeah, big power left-hander. Batted .345 this past season. So he's definitely the guy that Northwest wants up at the plate right now. So Romero will look to get out of this bases-loaded jam. First pitch outside, ball 1. 1-0 the count. That pitch taken for a strike on the inside corner. 1-1. That pitch low. 2-1. Eastern Florida has sat down their pitcher in the pen. So it looks like they have enough confidence in Romero to keep him in for the rest of this inning. Two and 1 the count to Jake Corso. 3-1 that pitch low and outside. Romero's command really lacking right now. Hate to see this from a guy who started off so strong. That pitch swung on and missed. 3-2, full count. And swung on a miss. Romero gets out of it. Gets out of the bases loaded jam, allowing 3 runs in this inning. Able to strike out possibly Northwest's best hitter to get out of it. Northwest leads 5-1. We'll be right back in the top half of the 5th. You are watching the FCSAA JUCO State Baseball Tournament. I'm Chris Valentine alongside Corey Mack and Marshall Watrous. We'll be right back in the top half of the 5th. Number 1 hitter Noberto Navarro leads off the top half of the 5th for Eastern Florida State College. He's 1 for 2 today. Flew out to center. And he singled. ahead in the count, 2-0. That pitch is in there, 2-1. And that pitch fouled back to the netting, 2-2, even count. That pitch taken for a ball brings it to a full count. And that is grounded down the third baseline. Foul ball. And there's a blooper into right field, and that will fall for a base hit. Navarro gets on with a single. That'll bring Sammy Duran, the right fielder, up. No outs, runner on first. Duran has struck out twice today. That pitch taken high, ball one. That pitch taken on the inside corner for a strike, 1-1. The wind looks to be picking up a little bit now. Back to where it was earlier. And that pitch is taken inside, 2-1. And he tried to hold up, but he couldn't do it in time. 2-2. That pitch was high. He knew he shouldn't have swung at it, but he did. And he takes that pitch, strike three. Sammy Duran is out on strikes for the third time today. That's the fifth strikeout of the game for Jarrett Montgomery. He's pitched well today, even though he's given up 8 hits. He's been able to keep the ball in positions where his defenders could get to him. First pitch taken for a ball, 1-0.
Now, Chris, what do you attribute that to when a pitcher's only given up 1 run but has 8 hits? Would you say it's the outfield? What kind of how would a pitcher allowed 8 hits but only 1 run?
Composure by the pitcher. Usually when a pitcher gives up a lot of hits, like Montgomery has today, he gets nervous on the mound. He starts losing his command. But Montgomery hasn't done that today. He's been hittable, but when it comes down to crunch time, when he's had situations, he's been able to pitch well enough to get out of jams. As that pitch taken inside, ball 3, 3-0 to McFadden.
Montgomery definitely does seem to have kept this cool all day. Not gotten rattled at all, and it really shows being up 5-1 right now and still pitching very well.
And Eastern Florida has out-hit Northwest, but I contribute all that to Montgomery. As he walks McFadden, that'll put runners on first and second. One out, and Jeff Court will come up to bat.
Next batter is the catcher, number 15, Jeff Court.
Chris, I know you mentioned that Eastern Florida has more hits. Batting average, Eastern Florida State College has an average of 318, and Northwest Florida has an average of 274.
And it shows because Northwest has had way more batters come up to the plate today, and they still have one less hit. That's because Tommy Romero has lacked command. He's walked four batters today, and they haven't had to get hits to get on base. They've been given bases by Romero.
Through the walks.
And as we were talking, there was a passed ball that put Navarro on third and McFadden on second. So runners on second and third for Court, and he will try to drive these runs home. Try to close the gap a little bit between Eastern Florida and Northwest. Counts 1-0. And that pitch is fouled back into the netting, 1-1. And that pitch is taken on the outside corner. 1-2, called strike. One and two to Jeff Court. Trying to get these two runners home.
The fans don't seem too happy after that last call by the umpire.
And that'll bring home one run. That's a ground out to second. Diaz with the throw. Gets the runner at first. That'll make it 5-2. That also put the runner on third from second to third.
Brings up the designated hitter, number 18, Elian Mario.
Elian Marejo, the DH, will come on to bat. Runner on third, 2 outs. Swings and misses at the first pitch. 0-1. He's doubled and flown out to right. 1 for 2 on the night. That pitch is in the dirt. Good block by Halfaker. 1-1. And that pitch is taken right down the middle. 1-2. And that pitch is in the dirt and swung at. Making the throw to first is Halfaker. And that'll end the inning, 5-2. Eastern Florida scored 1 run on 1 hit with 1 man left on base. They closed the gap a little bit, 5-2, as we head to the bottom half of the 5th inning. You're watching FCSAA Sports on YouTube. We'll be right back in the bottom half of the 5th. We're back here in the bottom half of the 5th inning. Leading off for Northwestern, shortstop Mike Salvatore. He singled and walked in his previous 2 at-bats. Foul tip. That'll go back to the netting. 0-1 the count. That pitch in the dirt, 1-1.
Salvatore, the New Jerseyan, same state as Mike Trout. He misses that swing, so now it's a 1-2 count, 0 outs. At the bottom of the 5th.
That pitch called ball outside. Evens the count at 2-2. And that's a foul tip caught. That'll be a strikeout for Salvatore.
This game is currently 5-2. As the same score as Game 1 as Chipola won 5-2 over St. John River State College. The second game, State College of Florida beat Tallahassee 11-8. And then following this game, we have Polk State versus Palm Beach State. That game will most likely start around 9:30. But we'll keep you posted. The game's got a little bit late start today due to a weather delay in Game 1 from the rain the night before. And we didn't get that game started until about 10:30 this morning.
That pitch taken for a strike. 0-2 the count. And that pitch fouled back. Bryant Harris Jr. is the batter, the right fielder. And strike 3, swung at and missed. That is the 9th strikeout of the game for Tommy Romero. If that number surprises you, you're not alone. It surprised me when I read it as well. He's been either all or nothing for every batter. He's given up 7 hits, 5 runs, and he's got 9 strikeouts. That pitch is hit high. Will it stay in play? Third base side. No, it will not. That'll be strike 1. That sent some of the Palm Beach State players running. Pop-ups are a little bit harder when you don't have your glove. 0-1 the count. Now Devin Brown at the plate. That pitch called a ball low. 1-1. That pitch swung on. Grounded to third. Cornell makes the throw. That'll be out number 3. That will end the inning. We'll head to the top half of the 6th. Northwest leads Eastern Florida 5-2 after 5. We're back here in the top half of the 6th. Dylan Owens hits a hard shot in between third and short, and he's able to get on base to lead off this inning.
That's a good way to start off an inning.
Anytime you can get the leadoff batter on, it increases your chance to score in that inning exponentially. was one of my vocab words
There you
this
go.
week. My word of the day. Exponentially.
Exponentially. Paul Castillo at bat right now, faking like he's got bunt. The lefty.
Well, he didn't fake it. And he also didn't move out of the way of that possible throw. He stared Hal Faker down.
Halfaker with a fake throw to first base. Little pump fake.
Looking like Jay Cutler. And that ball passes by Hal Faker. And Castillo will go to second. That'll be a second pass ball of the day for Hal Faker. One and one the count to Castillo. That pitch low, 2-1. Runner on second, no outs for Castillo. And swung on to left field. That ball just foul. 2-2. And Castillo swings at it and misses. That'll be strike 3. Castillo goes down swinging. That'll be the first out of the inning.
Next batter for the Titans is number 2, third baseman Jason Cornelius.
Third baseman Jason Cornelius comes up to bat. Runner on second, 1 out. Eastern Florida still looking to close the gap in the scoreline. They trail by 3 here. They're starting to run out of time. Cornelius fouls that ball to the right. Oh, and 1 the count to Cornelius. Montgomery with the pitch. He fouls that ball back as well. 0-2.
Sebastian Rivera on deck.
That ball in the dirt. Good block by Hal Faker.
And Jason Cornell with a .330 batting average. He's got 1 homer on the year and 16 RBIs.
He's been good for Eastern Florida this season.
Man on second, counts 1-2.
And swung out and missed. Strike 3 for Cornelius. Second out of the inning. As Sebastian Rivera, the center fielder, comes on. Trying to make something out of this man on second. They've had a runner on scoring position since the beginning of the inning. Haven't been able to take advantage of it. Ball outside the call on that first pitch. Rivera is 1 for 2 today. He scored a run in the third inning. Takes that second pitch outside, ball 2. And swung out and missed. 2-1. Two and one the count to Rivera with a man on second and 2 outs. Eastern Florida trails by 3 here in the top half of the 6th. They have 9 hits and 2 runs. Unable to get much going when they've gotten men on base. That pitch is outside for a ball. They've left 6 men on base total today. They haven't been good with runners in scoring position either.
Rivera, the lefty, with a 3-1 count.
And that ball is flown to shallow center. And making the catch is Salvatore. That'll end the inning.
You never know if someone's going to come down with that ball or not. Sometimes, especially playing at night, that ball can get lost in the lights. So you never really know. You always want to make sure you run through the base.
Yep. That'll do it for the top of the 6th. They're 1 hit, no runs, 1 man left on base. We'll be right back for the bottom half of the 6th. Northwest Florida leads Eastern Florida 5-2. We'll be right back. And we're back here in the bottom half of the 6th. There's a new pitcher on for Eastern Florida, number 20, Tyler Keyzor. He'll come on in relief for Tommy Romero.
Keyzor, a 6'4", 200-pound freshman from Orlando, Florida.
That pitch fouled back into the netting, 0-1. Leading off is number 26, Cole Halfaker, the catcher. One and one the count. Romero departs this game 5 innings pitched, 7 hits, 5 runs, all earned. That pitch fouled back into the top corner of the netting. 1-2. Like we discussed earlier, Marshall, it was pretty much all or nothing for Romero. He gave up a ton of hits, but he also struck out 8 batters. So it was a coin flip for every batter on how he would fare.
Most definitely. You know, every single team out here, they've had a different issue with their pitcher. In the first game, we had a phenomenal pitcher for St. John's River State, and he had to leave by the 6th inning, and that game turned completely around when he went out. The last game, for example, State College of Florida, the same thing. They had a great pitcher. He got fatigued. They had to take him out. Tallahassee started scoring some runs, however, State College of Florida held on. So, and then some of the other teams, Tallahassee, they went through, I believe, maybe 3 or 4 pitchers throughout the whole game. So a lot of people utilizing that bullpen of theirs.
That ball is hit to deep center, and a collision out in the outfield, and the catch is not made. There's the umpire's calling it. It looked to me like they were able to secure it. That looked to me like they were able to secure that ball. That looked like an out to me. Through the collision. Either way, we're just glad that neither one of those players appear to be injured. The umpires are meeting by third base, and they'll stick with the call. Safe is the call. That'll go down as a hit, according to the scorekeepers. And correction on Romero's line, he had 9 strikeouts, not 8, but he did walk 4 batters. So that's how the night went for Romero. Tyler Kiesler looks to try to keep Eastern Florida in this game.
Man, those outfielders got to be shaking their head right now. Just, again, a lack of communication. Hopefully they can fix that right here. But defense comes down to communication, so that's why they collided on that last play as we get a runner home for Northwest Florida State College.
That's an inside-the-park home run. That's a triple with a throwing out error. It's a Little League home run for Northwest Florida. They extend this lead to 7-2. That was a deep hit by Guidry, and he was able to bring home Halfaker and get in on that throwing error.
And what a great job by Guidry. That's our first in the park home run of the day, and it's well deserved. He was hustling to third base.
Dano Diaz, the second baseman, comes up to bat here in the bottom half of the 6th. First pitch taken for a strike. Court goes out to talk to Kiesler. Oh, and 1 the count to Diaz. That pitch taken for a ball, 1-1. That pitch is on the outside corner. 1-2 is the call. And swung out and missed. Strike 3. Kezor strikes out Diaz. First strikeout of the game for Diaz. That's the first out of the inning. Coming on to bat, third baseman Landon Crowder. He goes to lay down a bunt, and he's hit by that pitch, and he's awarded first. He was able to pull back the bunt attempt in time, and he'll head over to first. And he earned that. He earned every bit of that.
Next batter is the designated hitter, number 24, Ross Goforth.
On about now, designated hitter Ross Goforth takes that first pitch for a ball, 1-0. And he drives that ball deep into left field. Back at the warning track, making the catch and diving afterwards was McFadden. He throws that ball in, and the runner, Crowder, has to go all the way back to first.
Man, what a diving catch that was. I was waiting. I just knew it'd be a matter of time till Goforth hit one off pretty far. I mean, he swings at that ball like he's angry, and, you know, he finally made some decent contact with it, just didn't get far enough out there, but spectacular catch by Eastern Florida State College out there in the outfield.
Jake Corso comes on to bat. He struck out twice and grounded out to short. And he fouls that pitch back. 1-1 the count now. And Corso, in his last at bat, had an opportunity with the bases loaded, but he struck out swinging. This could be a much wider lead for them if he was able to get any of those runs in, but he's able to drive that ball into deep right in the corner. That's going to be 3 for Corso. He'll bring in a run, and he'll go into third sliding. And that'll be a RBI triple for the first baseman, Corso. And he extends this lead to 8-2. Mike Salvatore comes on. 2 outs, runner on third. His team leads 8-2. They've scored 3 in this inning already. He's looking to add 1 to that total. Maybe a couple, maybe 2. And he lines that right past Kezor's head, and he brings that runner home from third. 9-2 ball game.
Man, talk about the reaction from Kezor, Chris. What do you say?
That could always be a scary situation. I'm glad he was able to duck out of there in time. Brian Harris Jr. comes on, the right fielder. Runner on first, 2 outs. Bottom half of the 6th. Northwest leads 9-2 over Eastern Florida. And they're calling for a balk on the Northwest side. And that runner stealing. Throw at second, not in time. It was wide. And Salvatore is in at second safely. 0-1 the count.
Salvatore leads the team with 11 stolen bases.
Swung on and miss. 0-2. And Harris fouls that back. Keeps himself alive. 0-2, 2 outs, runner on second. And he's taking off from second. And he's out. That'll end the inning.
Great snag in the air.
That'll end it for the bottom half of the 6th. We'll be right back for the top half of the 7th. You're watching FCSAA Sports on YouTube. We'll be right back. We're back here in the top half of the 7th. Northwest Florida State College leads Eastern Florida State College 9-2 after 6. Leading off is Noberto Navarro, the shortstop, number 1 slot hitter. Takes that first pitch for a ball, 1-0. And he lines out to, grounds out to third. That'll be the first out of the game, or of the inning, I should say. Right fielder Sammy Duran comes on to hit. He's got 3 strikeouts on the game today. trying to avoid that golden sombrero. We already saw one of them today. I believe it was Ronaldo Rivera of Chipola. And he avoids it for the time being. Grounded to short, able to make the grab, and the throw was Navarro. Sorry, not Navarro. That was Mike Salvatore. That'll be 2 quick outs to start this inning.
Next batter for Eastern Florida is number 10, left fielder Jacob McFadden.
Jacob McFadden comes on, left fielder. He's 1 for 2 on the day. Hit fly out to center, and he's walked. One another count. Swung at and missed. 1-1.
Man, Jared Montgomery is bringing the heat. He has been consistent from the beginning of the game. He has not slowed down at all.
He sure has. He's only been tagged a couple times. And he's been dominant for the rest of the game. He's working on 7 innings with 2 runs. He has given up 9 hits, but he's been able to compose himself. He hasn't given up many runs. And that ball tagged over the shortstop. That'll be a hit into left field for Jacob McFadden. He's 2 for 3 on the day. The catcher, Jeff Court, will come up to bat. Court comes on with 2 outs and a man on first. His team down by 7. And he fouls that back into the netting. Starts off with a strike, 0-1. Jeff Court is 1 for 2 today with a sac fly. That ball's also fouled back, 0-2. And he lines that through the middle past the shortstop. And he'll get on base with a 2-out single. He'll send McFadden over to second. And he's safe in at first. Elian Morejo, the DH, comes on to hit. Maybe he can get something going with 2 outs here. That pitch is low. Starts off with a ball.
For those of you patiently waiting for the 4th game of today, which is Polk State versus Palm Beach State, that's supposed to start at 7 p.m. That should be starting at about 9 or 9:30, probably closer to 9:30 after this game. Give the teams a little bit of time to warm up and fix the field, and then we should be underway between the 2 teams.
All of these games today have been relatively long when you look at the time for college baseball. Each one has lasted over 3 hours, and that's more than normal for a typical college game. 1-2 the count after that pickoff attempt by Halfaker.
This game coming up on 2 hours and 30 minutes at the top of the 7th inning.
That pitch swung on, fouled back. Morejo keeps himself alive, 1-2. 2 outs. Runners on first and second. Still no action in the bullpen for Northwest Florida. That's a grounder to third. And Crowder will make the smart play and step on third to get the force out. That'll end the inning. No runs on 2 hits, 2 men left on base. We'll head to the bottom half of the 7th inning. Northwest Florida leads Eastern Florida 9-2. We're back here in the bottom half of the 7th. Eastern Florida has a new pitcher, number 6, Jack Corbell. Marshall, tell us a little bit about him.
Corbell is 6'2", 210 sophomore from West Palm Beach, Florida. He's the third pitcher of the day for this Eastern Florida State College team. And, you know, Chris, we were talking earlier how every team is just taking the pitcher approach differently. I mean, for example, Northwest Florida State College, they've had faith in Jared Montgomery the whole entire time. I mean, you know, a lot of times they limit their pitchers to a certain number of pitch count because they don't want to get them fatigued. You know, some of these teams are going to be playing later in the week. But, I mean, a couple of the teams today, they've been going on 3 and 4 pitchers today.
And he comes in relief of Tyler Kezor. Tyler Kezor pitched 2 innings. He gave up 3 hits, 2 runs, 1 earned.
And Kezor came in and gave Tommy Romero a relief. So, Jack Corbell going out there, the bottom of the 7th, trying to give him the best shot he's got.
Sorry, he gave up 4 hits on that. My mistake.
And that's Devin Brown with a 3-1 count right now. 0 outs. Start of this bottom of the 7th, and he'll get a second from the umpire to regather himself.
That was a late time call. And he draws the walk. Devin Brown will head to first base.
You know, I've noticed with Jack Corbell when he's pitching, he really favors throwing that ball towards the left side. Now it's just against a righty and Devin Brown. So now that he's going against number 26, Cole Halfacre, that he'll be going against a lefty himself. So we'll see how he does favoring that left side towards a lefty.
Halfacre comes on, no outs, one man on base. And he lays down the bunt, but it pops up back into the netting. Pickoff attempt over to first. Devin Brown not doing anything over there. And swung on and missed on the off-speed pitch. Halfacre was not expecting that. He's down on the count 0-2. Another move over to first. Nothing doing that time as well. And he lines that over the head of Corneal. That'll put men on first and second with no outs. That is the third hit of the game for Halfacre.
Next batter for Northwest Florida State. It's number 10, center fielder Joe Guidry.
Joe Guidry comes on. He's 2 for 3 with a triple and a run scored. He looks to lay down a bunt. Pitch is high. Look for Devin Brown to take a really large lead, secondary lead, as Corneal is going to be coming down the line to try to defend the possible bunt. And that would cause Navarro to have to back up third, unless they plan on allowing the lead runner to go. And there's a pickoff attempt back at second. Devin Brown back in there with no problem. And that pitch called for a strike, 1-1. And he swings, hits that ball deep into right field. Devin Brown will tag, and he'll make it into third easily. The runner at first stays. That'll put runners on first and third. Sacrifice fly by Joe Gittery. That'll bring up Dano Diaz. He's 1 for 2 today with a strikeout and 2 RBIs. He had a 2 RBI triple in the 4th inning. And he looks to possibly lay down a bunt, and they're going to intentionally walk him. And no, they're not. They faked it, and it was a ball anyway. So the jig is up. I don't think he's going to buy it this time. And they actually go to intentionally walk him. Look at that. They faked it in the first part. Faked it the first time. And then don't fake it the second time. They're confusing myself and most of the fans here. But they're gonna load the bases. They want to pitch to Landon Crowder. He's 1 for 2 today. He's walked twice. He's walked once, been hit by a pitch, and he struck out once. So the bases are loaded for the third baseman, Landon Crowder. He's got 1 out. Infield is in, with the exception of Castillo over at second. He's there for a possible double play turn. And Castillo walks in. Crowder calls time.
Crowder's last at bat was the off the body, correct?
Yes, it was.
The free walk. Not a fun
The
pitch.
earned walk.
Yeah, not a
is
fun
what I like
pitch.
to call it. Takes that pitch inside on the corner. 0-1. It's the most painful way to earn a base.
You deserve it after that.
Yeah,
man.
you deserve everything. Especially that one. He took it off the chest when he was trying to bunt. And he swings, lines that ball down the line, and they call it foul. Just barely foul on that hit. And that would have been possibly a base clearing double. So Crowder is now down 0-2. And Crowder almost got hit again. That pitch inside, 1-2. And he keeps himself alive on the foul ball back. Still 1-2.
And if Northwest Florida State gets a run here, they will win the game due to the run rule if you're up by 8 in the 7th inning. And that's a ball game.
That ball fouled back. Still 1-2. Crowder doing a good job of keeping himself alive. He wants to end this game.
And Crowder's been at bat for a while now. That counts 1-2 with only 1 out. Bases loaded.
And he swings and misses. He strikes out for the second time today. And that'll be out number 2. Base is still loaded. Ross Goforth, the DH, comes up to bat. He struck out twice, walked, and he flied out to left field in his last at bat. Off-speed pitch in there for a strike. 0-1. And every time Corbell pitches, that really quick delivery catches me off guard every time. I don't think it's something I'm going to get used to tonight. 0-2. Goforth swings and misses.
And Goforth's last at bat was that ball into deep left field. That was almost out of here. Whoever caught.
And he swings, and that is a foul ball. Almost down the line fair. But we do it again. 0-2. Goforth digs in. And that ball is high. 1-2. Devin Brown over at third trying to distract Corbell with his quick secondary lead. And he swings, bloops that one over to second, and it is caught by Castillo. That will end the inning. 3 men left on base off 1 hit and 2 walks. Northwest Florida leads 9-2 after 7. We'll be right back in the top half of the 8th. You're watching FCSAA Sports on YouTube. I'm Chris Valentine alongside Corey Mack and Marshall Watrous. We'll be right back in the top half of the 8th. We are back here in the top half of the 8th. Northwest Florida leads Eastern Florida State College 9-2. We've got a slight drizzle coming in now. It's enough to make most of the crowd seek shelter. But we're nice and dry. That pitch taken for a strike. 0-2 the count. This is Dylan Owens at bat for the Titans. And he takes that ball low, 1-2. And swung on a miss, strike 3. And it's still Jarrett Montgomery out there. He's going on 8 innings pitched. 7 1/3 so far. Paul Castillo comes up. He struck out in his last at bat. He's 0 for 3 on the day. Swung on and missed, 0-1.
Castillo, the freshman shortstop from Miami, Florida, stands 6'2", weighing in at 185. Counts 0-1.
And Montgomery on the day has 9 strikeouts while allowing 2 runs on 11 hits. We've said it a couple times during this game that he's kept his composure when he's found himself in situations. And that's why he's still in this ball game. He has Castillo down 1-2. And he strikes him out, but the ball gets past Halfaker. And he'll get on, and Castillo will get on base. That'll still count as a strikeout. So that's 10 on the day for Montgomery.
Chris, what is your take on Northwest Florida State College's head coach Doug Martin on keeping in Jaron Montgomery and so far the whole game? I mean, you've got multiple games this week. How do you go about, getting him the right amount of rest? I don't think you want to sit him out the next game because the next game's just going to be harder. So how do you go? What's your impression on this?
Well, most college pitchers max throw 7 innings. Maybe 8 if they're doing really well. Sometimes they'll throw in a complete game if they have a game of their life, as that pitch is high and passes by.
For example, in such a short time period between game to game, I mean, this team's going to be playing either tomorrow or Sunday, so they're going to be, super close. I don't think a day off is much rest.
Well, college rotations usually have 3 or 4 guys that they go to on a regular basis. Usually in tournaments, they'll cut it down to their 3 best. So I assume we'll see him, if they continue to win, I assume we'll see him in the next 4 days or so, 4 or 5 days or so.
Definitely will.
Because at this age, you can keep it going. You don't need that much rest. You always want to be wary of pitching a guy without much rest, especially how deep he's going in right now. But I wouldn't put it past him one bit to be able to pitch again.
Well, Northwest Florida State College definitely has a lot of faith in their pitcher, and he, it's well deserved. He's had a phenomenal day so far.
Yeah, he's earned all the faith that they've given to him, as he now has the count even with Cornel.
Once again, Montgomery is a sophomore out of Indianapolis, Indiana.
Runner on second, 1 out, 2-2. And that ball is low, full count. And the rain looks like it's starting to pick up a little bit. Hopefully we won't get a delay. Hopefully we can at least make it through this game. And there's a grounder to short, and they get the lead runner at third. Good play. Good heads-up play by Mike Salvatore, the Northwest shortstop. That'll be 2 outs. Sebastian Rivera up to bat. Comes on with 2 outs and a man on first. Two and 0 the count to Rivera. Rivera is 1 for 3 on the day today. And there's a strike on the outside corner. That'll be 2-1. And it looks like the rain has all but stopped. 3-1 the count now. And it looks like the next game, if it plays out how it should in the next few minutes, would start at 10:15. It's a far cry from 7.
I'd like to apologize to all the fans for continually pushing back the start time of this game. However, this game just passed 3 hours, as many of the other games today have.
Yeah, this one's at 3 hours. The game previous went 3:15 through 20, I believe, and then the game previous went 3:10. So longer than your average college games today. As the runner takes off and called ball 4. So now runners on first and second for Norberto Navarro. Navarro digs in, ready for the pitch. Runners on first and second, 2 outs. And he lines that grounder over to second and get the force out at second. That was Diaz to Salvatore. That's the 3rd out of the game, or of the inning. That will end the top half of the 8th. Northwest Florida leads 9-2 after 7.5. Leading off for Northwestern in the bottom half of the eighth, first baseman Jake Corso. And he grounds it to first. That's Owens to Corbell on the play. That is the first out of the inning. Mike Salvatore comes on. Comes on with one out, no men on. First pitch, breaking ball, finds the zone, 0-1. Salvatore swings through that, 0-2.
That last pitch was clocked in at 71 miles an hour by Jack Corbell.
He's shown that he has a good breaking ball. And there's a high pop-up. Will that stay in play? Looks like it. And out to make the play is Owens. That'll be out number 2.
And a great snag by Owens. I know he mentioned earlier, you know, when you're playing at night, those lights can really play a factor. If that's a ball going straight up, you know, you might lose it for a quick second, and you gotta regather yourself to find that ball under the light.
Right, you are. Especially with these kinds of lights. They get lost in them pretty easy. It's not like the tarp at the Trop, but they're still difficult. And Bryant Harris Jr. fouls that back. He is 0 for 4 today. He has struck out twice, grounded out, and lined out. And he fouls that one to the right. 0-2 now. That ball swung on, fouled. Still 0-2 for Harris Jr.
That ball almost hit the body of Harris Jr.
I think that ball did hit the body of Harris Jr., but he did swing.
Ouch.
And Harris grounds that to shortstop. And that goes under the glove of Navarro. That'll be an error on Navarro. Devin Brown comes on. He is 2 for 3. He's scored 2 runs. Throw over to first, not in time. And there's a grounder over to second, and another misplayed. And there's nobody at second to cover. And good heads-up base running by Devin Brown, able to get all the way to second on that error on Castillo. 2 errors in a row on the middle infielders for Eastern Florida.
And a great job by Devin Brown, just realizing there was no one there at second base and making that move. It was really a risky move, but he made it work. So we got runners on second and third. which definitely helps out Cole Halfacre.
Cole Halfacre comes on, runners on second and third, 2 outs. He is 3 for 3 today with a walk. He's scored 3 runs. He's been an offensive machine for this team today. 0-1 the count. And time called. Time granted to Halfacre. That ball called a strike inside. 0-2 the count to Halfacre. And they say that he held up 1-2. Ball called high. 1-2 the count. Man on second and third. 2 outs for Halfacre. Looking to finish this game off. If he can do that with a hit. And there's a pass ball. And in safely was Brian Harris Jr. And that's the ball game, folks. That is the 8-run rule after 7 innings. Northwest Florida takes this game 10-2 off that pass ball. And Northwest Florida will move on to play tomorrow. I believe it's tomorrow. No guarantees.
Tomorrow, Northwest Florida will be playing the winner. They will be playing Santa Fe at 1 p.m. tomorrow.
You heard it here first. Northwest Florida against Santa Fe tomorrow at 1 p.m., barring any extra long games like today. Jarrett Montgomery is your winning pitcher. Tommy Romero, the losing pitcher for Eastern Florida. Jarrett Montgomery threw a complete game, 8-inning, 2 runs, 11 hits allowed. And for FCSAA Sports on YouTube, I'm Chris Valentine alongside Corey Mack and Marshall Watrous. We thank you for joining us today. Stay tuned as we have the 4th and final game for the day coming up in about 45 minutes. It will be Polk State against Palm Beach State right here.